friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello, and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try new things. I'm Marcus, and that man in front of the collection of flashes is Nick. How are you?
Are you knocking me with how many flashes I have? I don't know how I've gotten so many flashes. Flash is my favorite, but you know how many of these flashes I've bought myself?
Like one, two? Yeah. That's how it works. It's this weird gift giving thing that when you say you like something, people will just gift it to you a lot, not knowing anything else about you. Or maybe they do, but they know that's your main jam. So they'll just keep gifting you the same thing. So you just end up with a huge collection of whatever that thing is.
I love the Flash, but I would be cool with two nice figures. I don't need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you can see in the shot.
Yeah. So everyone who ever gifted Nick a Flash, he wants to let you know he doesn't appreciate it.
Nah, that's not true. Joseph gifted me this one, and it's my nicest one.
That's also the problem with
it's like flat. It's fashioned over of like old action figures, so it looks like vintagey, but it's nice and new.
Yeah, I like
nice.
That. It's pretty nice. But
and
that's
guys,
the thing.
If you want to see these awesome Flash figures, you need to check us out at twitch.tv/Now Try This Cast, where we stream our episodes live every week, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, one of the gifters are in the chat and said, "Drumbum, I hope Captain Cold is okay." Andrew, I love the fact that Captain Cold is Flash, but changes it up, and he matches my white theme, so he was perfect. Where else am I going to find a white action figure? I didn't plan this. This is just what I had.
I like it.
Marcus, what are we here for?
Nick, this week you gave me the challenge of watching Reacher. It's not about a guy who gives reach-arounds under a bridge. It's about former cop and military man who reaches a small town and tries to solve a murder. That's his brother?
You nailed it, Marcus. That is right. Every week we challenge each other to try something. This was my week. And last week was the Patreons week. That's right. Once a month, you guys get to decide what we try. So last week, we were challenged to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newest horror movie on Netflix. Guys, go check out that episode because me and Marcus got heated.
It did. Yeah, we had to go to therapy, couples therapy after that.
Yeah, but we are okay. We worked through it. We have now communication tricks and tips to use.
Yes.
Marcus, is there anything you would like to say before I continue?
I feel like you are still wrong about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You're not. I went back and listened to the episode, and that was a great film, and my point's all still valid. Guys, if you want to join the conversation, join us at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast. Every $1 patron gets to vote, and if you are so willing to give $5, you get to suggest and get into that voting pool about what we do every month. Just like Drum Bum in the chat is a patron, and he's going to suggest something next month, I bet.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. I'm excited to see what that is. Nick.
But he also said I need to get a White Lantern Flash. And honestly, I feel like I could get a White Lantern Flash and a Blue Lantern Flash.
That would be cool.
But then where would I put Sailor Mercury?
Sailor Mercury is not a Flash member. She needs to move. I see Blue I see Blue up one shelf. She could go up there.
You mean up here?
Yeah, to the right. Yeah.
That's green. That's Bulbasaur.
Oh, I can't see from there, man.
All right.
Garbage.
I thought that said Gengar, and I was very confused. Guys, check us everywhere at Now Try This Cast to talk to us, and you can leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Spotify. It really helps out the show. Now, Marcus, before we get to Reacher, have you been trying anything new as of late?
I've been playing Elden Ring, which I absolutely
love. Everybody else.
It's very good. I am surprised the amount of people playing Elden Ring. A lot of first timers into the Souls franchise are deciding Elden Ring is the good entry point. And
it's not an entry in the franchise. It's like a spin-off, right? Like it's like a new world. It's an entry. It's not a Souls game, but it is a Souls game. Like it's the one company making all the games. So none of them have anything to do with one another. So like Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, it's not like it's telling the same story. Oh, I thought it was like the same world.
The same world, but like Final Fantasy. where like Final Fantasy 1 and 2 are like, yeah.
Final Fantasy are really not the same world though. They like very much like aren't the same world.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know. It's the same franchise, but it's not. It doesn't matter. I don't know that much about the lore because the games don't tell you jack shit. If you want to know about the lore of Dark Souls, you have to watch a 2.5 hour long video on YouTube and figure out what's going on.
All right, but this one's special because there is a little more lore because George R.R. Martin helped out with it, right?
There is barely any more lore. And it's basically like Edgelord, Lord of the Rings is the storyline that's happening right there. And I don't know how much George R.R. Martin contributed towards the story because he probably got a fat paycheck for like 10 hours of work.
That's what happens when you make one of the most successful fantasy franchises ever.
Let me watch a 2.5 hour video on the lore of Elden Rings, and then I'll let you know if George R. R. Martin did a good job writing.
Marcus, it sounds like you should challenge me not to play Elden Ring.
No, you would hate it.
Just to learn about Elden Ring, and then we have a whole podcast about it. Guys, if you're interested in us talking or streaming Elden Ring at all, let us know at Now Try This Cast.
Good. If there was like an Elden Ring anime or something that was like a companion piece to the game, I'd probably recommend that to you.
That's true of all those fucking games, though. Final Fantasy, there should be animes based on every single one of the numbers every time.
That's true. The 7 gets. I love 7, but it gets a lot of love.
Everyone does.
It gets a lot. It
gets too much love.
It gets too much love. Spread the love.
It's had too many spin-offs. I can't even like keep up. But like Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy, I would say Final Fantasy 8 and 10 are both. And 9. Wow. 8, 9, and 10 are like really, really revered in the communities. Like people who love those games really love those games. And what else do we have from those games?
That's true.
If you gave me a Final Fantasy anime, I would watch the shit out of it.
10-2 got a sequel. 10 got a sequel.
Yeah, but have you played it? It's really dumb.
I know it's dumb, but it got a sequel.
So I know you know what it is, but for everyone out there, so Final Fantasy X was this great game. It like, honestly, I think it's I think some of the other stories might be more interesting, but Final Fantasy X is like the most streamlined version of like the Final Fantasy games. It's like very straightforward. It was perfect for how old I was. And it was a really great game. It was very cinematically beautiful. It was like good versus evil. It was great. Yeah. Some people like the other ones more for the intrigue of what's going on, but Final Fantasy X is a great Final Fantasy game. Then they released Final Fantasy X2, which is a sequel to it that took place 5 years later. It is nothing like Final Fantasy X, not even a little bit. The story of Final Fantasy X is the main character, or X-2 is Final Fantasy X's main character didn't exist during that time, so he leaves. So then the other main character, the female main character, is searching for him, but she can't find him because he doesn't exist. And that game finishes without you finding him. And the whole conceit of how to play that game is no longer the turn-based system we know and love with gun swords and even blitzball. I would have took some fucking blitzball, but instead it's dress spheres. So instead of having weapons, you use different orbs to change your outfits, and your outfits have different powers. So it turns into like Sailor Moon.
Nick, beautifully said. Nick, I was laughing to myself while you were saying that because...
Yeah, I know. I thought that was a great description.
It was a great description. The demographic for Reacher and Final Fantasy X-2... I don't think there's a lot of overlap there.
Since when do we tailor make episodes for the demographic?
I was just laughing like a Joe Rogan type coming in and be like, yeah, let's see what these guys have to say about Jack Reacher. And then we're like, so Final Fantasy X-2 has a great magic system where you...
Well, that's why I usually put in the reviews for when we get into a lot of tangents where the actual review starts.
That's true. So keep an eye out for that.
I don't know if it's helpful, but I usually do. I usually do. In terms of me trying something new, Marcus.
I didn't ask, but sure.
Clayton on the Bachelor finally got to his fantasy suites, and oh boy, is there drama,
spicy,
and vitriol. Let me ask you something. Did you watch Hannah Brown's season of Final Fantasy to the Bachelor to Reacher?
Sure.
You watch Hannah Brown's season, and you know her whole thing was Jesus still loves me. Jesus still loves me, and she slept with a whole bunch of her Final Fantasy. And she was like rewarded for it. She was like, you're the best bachelorette ever. Clayton did the same thing. He slept with multiple of his fantasy suite women, and he is getting eviscerated for it. It is wild. I don't know what's going on. Everything is like shifted in like the world of Bachelor, Bachelorette. And it's like people hating on Clayton 24/7 for everything he says and does. It's wild.
I will say there is an amount of hating on that happens in a lot of people's seasons. Like, I think some people go there to really shit on other people.
Yeah.
I feel like people come in with the toxicity of Love is Blind and they're like, great, I'm going to bring that to this as well. And
did you watch Love is Blind?
No, I just see a lot of TikToks about Love is Blind and I'm like, I know everything that happened on that show apparently, just based on the
Damn
TikToks.
it, I should have gave you Love is Blind season 2 instead of this garbage. Fuck, that would have been crazy.
What garbage, Reacher?
You should all watch a lot.
Did you just call Reacher garbage?
No, it's great. Marcus.
Oh no.
So
I'm interested to see what happens in this episode.
As we get into our episode of Reacher here, Marcus, what did you know about Reacher? What did you know about this franchise, this show? Anything at all, please tell me.
I knew that there were 2 Jack Reacher movies with Tom Cruise, and I might not even know that because there could just be one and I could be wrong. But I'm assuming there were 2 movies, and I had absolutely no interest in seeing them. I remember the trailers was him eating a pie in a diner, and then the cops came and he was like, I'm Jack Reacher. And then I was like, this looks stupid. This looks very bad, and I don't want to watch this. Especially, I don't know. I guess I do have stuff against Tom Cruise, but in every Tom Cruise movie, I'm like, I could kick his ass. I think I could kick Tom Cruise's ass.
He's like an amazing stunt forming.
I have height.
He does like amazing feats.
I have height on my side.
Missions.
I have height on my side, and I'm kind of crazy. Like, I think I could do it.
But you could.
This guy, this big 6'5" muscle man, kick my ass.
Yeah.
Kick my ass any day.
Marcus, that's so funny that you say that because it's a big thing in the community. So Jack Reacher in the books is like Alan Ritchson. He is a big beefcake, muscly, tall boy. Mm-hmm. And when Tom Cruise got cast, everyone who read the books hated it. There was huge campaigns against him.
In the
but
chat,
then the argument.
Darren says, "Oh, he's 6'5". The show hadn't mentioned that. They mentioned his height like 20 times per episode.
It's because of the fan base. They were fucking pissed when Tom Cruise got. So some people say like those movies wouldn't even been made because Tom Cruise was a fan of the books and he's the one that made them get made. You know,
okay,
like that's usually how it goes.
Fair enough.
But yeah, people have been shitting on Tom Cruise for not being big enough, including the author of the books.
That's awesome.
Since those movies came out.
That's awesome. I love that. I love when the author of the books comments and is like, no, I disagree.
Marcus, my favorite thing about Lee Child, who is the author of these books, when asked about Alan Ritchson, it was like, how do you feel about the casting? He said, the casting's perfect. He's tall.
Do you know his name? His name is like James
he
something.
Said more.
The writer of the books.
The writer?
His name
Lee Child.
Lee Child is a pen name. His real name is like James B. whatever. He's like a British dude.
Oh yeah, he's a British dude.
I forgot.
Oh, James
name.
Dover Grant.
Yeah, that's his name.
Why do you know his? Why do you know his real name?
Dover Grant. Ah yes, I write about American military men while I sip on my tea.
Are you shitting on him because he's British?
Yeah, fuck British people. Let's go.
Okay. Well, Marcus, the reason I gave this show, I really love a lot of Tom Cruise movies inadvertently. I don't think I'm like a huge Tom Cruise fan. Like I'm not like an apologist or I think he's really weird and he does crazy shit. He's got crazy eyes. I think that's why he does good in these movies.
You're a Tom Cruise movie
but
fan?
Mission Impossible movies, I love Mission Impossible movies. Edge of Tomorrow, I think that's a fantastic film. I think he has just been in some great films and that I really like. And so I watched the Jack Reacher films, the first one and the second one, and I loved them. I thought they were great. I thought he was good in them. I thought they were entertaining. They were like exactly what the show is. It's like this ex-cop fucking Sherlock Holmes, but can kick your ass walking around, dude. This fucking drifter guy that keeps going, and that was like cool conceit. So I wasn't gonna, when I found out that was a show, I was like, the show's probably going to be like that Jack Ryan show with John Krasinski, which I don't like.
Okay.
I started it. I thought it was really okay to start because I love John Krasinski.
Yeah.
I like the character, the Tom Clancy character. There was a Chris Pine movie that I liked based on that character, but the movie ends up being so much about like accounting and terrorism through accounting that it was just like boring. It was like, it just fucking get to the cool shit. Like I'm not one of those like red-blooded hot Americans where I need like fucking action and guns in my shit, but like fucking punch somebody. I don't know, like fucking do something. Like after you're I like Batman. Like he's gonna do all this crime shit and then he's gonna go punch you in the face. Like that's what I grew up on. I like comic books. You know,
I feel like when you watch something, you want what they are saying they're gonna deliver. At the very least. And if a movie's like action, he's in war, military, you're like, give me war, give me military.
Yeah, 100%. I am in for the conceit if you tell me what this. Yeah, you love Die Hard. Yeah, like, that's like
Die Hard's great.
I'm sure we're gonna talk about like the comparisons of the American hero and like the dissection of what that has been.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. That's definitely what we're gonna talk about.
But then I found out this was Alan Ritchson, and I've always liked Alan Ritchson. He's popped up in things.
Yeah, he was Aquaman in the CW like Smallville stuff.
Smallville show. Yeah, he was Raphael in the TMNT Michael Bay movies. Yep. He was Hawk in Hawk and Dove. And I've always liked him, but I've always thought he's had like shitty roles. Like he hasn't had anything that I've really like been able to like watch him shine. Yeah. And then everyone was talking about how amazing he was. And honestly, the reason I started watching the show, oddly enough, is shout out to another podcast. I was listening to Michael Rosenbaum's podcast.
Oh yeah.
What is it called?
I forgot what it's called.
It's called Inside of Michael Rosenbaum. Right? No, Inside of You. Inside of You.
Okay.
Inside of You is the podcast.
I've been seeing a lot of clips on YouTube of him.
Same. I'll watch like a random one with Brandon Routh. Adam or Tom Welling, and I'm talking about their old Smallville days. Super interesting. I think Michael Rosenbaum, he was the voice of the Flash in the Justice League cartoon. Yep. I'm a fan of him. He speaks super real and honest, and he's a big advocate of mental health stuff. So I've always liked the show. I always watched clips. But then Alan Ritchson was on a whole bunch of clips, and like they were talking about really interesting, cool things, and I like respected all the things he was saying. Yeah. So I checked out the show, went through the show really quickly within a couple days. Watching, and I loved it, and I wanted you to watch it because I knew it was something you would never watch 100% like on your own. Yeah. Because this isn't your genre. It's not something you gravitate towards, but I found it's really compelling, grounded, sincere in a way that was nice. That a sincerity you usually don't get from these kind of shows. They're usually like super dark and gritty, or like if you go watch an NCIS episode or something like that, they're just like so like melodramatic, and there are moments of melodrama in this. But because of Roscoe and Finley, the supporting cast, and the way that Alan Ritchson plays Reacher, I think it feels sincere to me. So I really liked it.
This feels like an old school TV show. Like I was during the second episode, I was watching and I turned to Daron and was like, this is Walker, Texas Ranger. Like I grew up with my Puerto Rican grandma who didn't speak any English. She watched 3 shows. She watched Walker, Texas Ranger, Quantum Leap, and The Incredible Hulk. And so we would just watch those shows all the time. So I've watched so many episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, and I was like, this is the same show. This is the same exact show. Has very similar vibes to that show. It has a similar pacing to that show. It's other than like, I think Walker, Texas Ranger had like sort of like a enemy of the week, criminal of the week kind of thing. This doesn't have that, but it does have like, I wouldn't be surprised if the writer was influenced by Chuck Norris for the writing of this character.
Totally. But yeah, walk me through it. You started watching the show.
I started watching the show, and immediately I was annoyed that there wasn't a theme song. And maybe it's because of the Texas Walker, Texas Ranger. Jesus Christ. Tripping me up because of Walker, Texas Ranger. Maybe I was like, there should be a theme song to this. Yeah. You know, I feel like there could be a theme song.
Well, if there was a theme song for something like Reacher, I mean, because again, it's a sincere show. It's not melodramatic, but there is a level of like superhero-ness coming from Reacher. Like
100%.
What would a full-blown, blonde-haired, American, ex-military, fucking like G.I. Joe motherfucker walking around theme song sound like, Marcus?
Let's see. I just have America, fuck yeah in my head. America, fuck yeah. Something like that would be great. Just like an explosion, a bald eagle flying, the flag waving in the background, some like military paraphernalia around. I'm into it. And then it's just like, Jack Reacher, kicking ass and taking names. I used to be a cop, now my brother is dead. I don't know why, but I'll find out soon. Jack Reacher. Hell yeah. Peacemaker. Oh, good. Peacemaker. Kind of like that. Something like that. Be fun.
Yeah, exactly like that. Honestly, it'd be very funny.
Oh yeah, he was the micro penis guy in New Girl also. Did you see that episode? It was a good episode. He shows up and he's like this hot, cool guy. And then she dates him and she's like, oh, he has a micro penis. And then she's like, you know what? I'm not going to let that deter me because it's something he can't control. It's genetic, like whatever. I'm going to date him and like see past that. And then he ends up being just a massive piece of shit. And she's like, okay, cool. I don't have to date you.
And
he did a good job.
But then did he forget like, oh, it's because of my penis, right?
Yeah.
It's always about, I remember. Yeah. No, I think he's one of those guys he's one of those TV guys that have been doing stuff for so long. He was in Blue Mountain State. He's just been
seems like a nice guy
working
too,
actor so long. And well, I really want to talk about that because I don't know if he's always been a nice guy, but like lately, a lot of what the Michael Rosenbaum Inside of You podcast was talking about, and I would tell you, I'll send you a clip. Everyone should go check out his interview. He was talking about his road. Did you know Aquaman was his first gig? His first TV gig?
I didn't know that.
Lighting that? Which is wild. And he talked about that. He talks about where he came from, but he also talked about when he attempted to take his own life.
Oh, wow.
And when he was diagnosed being bipolar and when and like all these things that was happening while he was, and a lot of the conceit of the interview was him talking about how nobody tells you that when you get to the point that he's at, there's nothing there. And it's not about the destination. It's not about making. It's not about any of that because there's nothing there waiting for you.
Yeah.
And he's got a wife and a kid. And he was talking about how, working through that with his kids and his wife. And he was just really open and honest. And like, Alan Ritchson is a big manly dude. Yeah. Like people look at him, he's like, yeah, Texas fucking Chuck Norris bitch over here.
Yeah.
And he's talking about like going to see a therapist and being bipolar and like how it was just really kind and really sincere of him like talking about his struggles and his struggles with mental health and what he deals with every day and his mindset behind things.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I like him because I saw that same interview too and I was like, I like this guy.
Oh, okay.
And like,
great.
Even though I had no intention of watching the show, I was like, man, people were saying it's good. People were like really talking about it. And the fact that he seems like a good dude, I was like, maybe I'll watch an episode. But then you gave it to me. I was like, great, cool. Now I have to watch it.
I think we have been so disappointed with our action stars and with our celebrities lately. When one comes out and they give us even a mock-rim of like, oh, are you a good person? I want to support you. I want to go check it out.
Yeah.
But I also think the show's good. But yeah, crazy interview. Everyone should definitely check it out. So here you are. So you start in Margrave, Georgia. He gets off the bus. Just like you said, he goes to the diner, orders a pie.
Orders a pie. Then the cops come. They arrest him. They take him to prison. He's like, what the fuck is going on? You find out
and he doesn't say a goddamn
murder.
thing. Well, he doesn't say anything.
Yes, he doesn't say anything, which is apparently a big thing with the character of Jack Reacher. There's like so many parts in the book where he's like, he stood there silently. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And apparently, did you see the part where he was talking about his audition?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where they were like, during his audition, they were like, his piece that he was supposed to read was just like, stand there silently or whatever.
And he didn't get it. And he didn't get it. Yeah. But then nobody got it.
Yeah.
And they went through all the auditions again and they saw something in his.
Yeah. They're like, maybe that was a bad tactic. Let's give him some lines to say this time.
Yeah. Well, it kind of sounds like the casting director was fired and got replaced.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I don't know. I think I love that because I think so much so we're like told what to think about our main characters, our action heroes.
Yeah.
But like it's one of the reasons why we like Die Hard, right? Like they don't tell us who Die Hard is. They show us who Die Hard is.
Die Hard.
I call him
the
Die Hard.
titular character Die Hard.
The titular character Die Hard. Yeah. They don't tell us who he is. They show us who he is, right? And I felt like they're trying to do that here too, where it's just like he's like the way he looks around the diner, like he's like, oh, I can fucking make a scene, but there's a kid here, there's an old lady here, so let me just pull my hands up. So you see his character, then you see his calm. But then you also see his ethics when he looks down the dude about to beat up his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which I know it's fucking corny, but he's like, what you looking at? And he just keeps staring at him. He's like, you're right. I'll try to do better. It was a bad week for me. I'm going to stop out.
I'll be honest. And I'm going to jump around a little bit, I guess, because I don't remember the like beat for beat details of the show. But I felt like a lot of the show was corny, which is like I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but I do want to point it out that I felt like a lot of the show felt like I was watching a CW show. It felt like the acting's better than that for sure.
Yeah.
But it felt like I was watching one of those kinds of shows. It felt like
it was a little corny.
The characters were like superheroes instead of like being actual characters. Like I said this to Daron, but watching this feels like this is a superhero for people that used to make fun of kids who like superheroes. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess so. Yeah.
Like I could imagine, like, I mean,
it's a G.I. Joe.
I enjoyed part of this, but it is a G.I. Joe. I could imagine someone who would beat me up for liking Batman, liking this show when it is the same as Batman.
Yeah, 100%. But I also like when I see Batman and he's not Batman. I think it's fun. Like that's why I thought the corniness works for me because I'm like,
it was corny.
Obviously
like
this person
Walker,
doesn't exist.
Texas Ranger. It's giving me a lot of nostalgia for that show.
Well, good. Have you watched any of the new Texas Walker?
I'm not gonna watch the new one. No, I would never watch the old one again either. It was a time and place thing.
I totally wanna. If I had 1 million hours a day, I would totally check it out just for fucking Padalecki. Fucking
Jared Padalecki, he's a
supernatural
good dude.
guy.
He seems like a really nice person too. I keep almost giving you Quantum Leap, but that show is very problematic. And so
is it?
I was like, yeah, it is. Like I feel like he the whole thing is the main character Scott Bakula ends up like jumping into people's bodies, and he jumps into like person with like Down syndrome's body, and that episode's kind of like cringy and weird how they deal with stuff. And he jumps into like a black person's body during like the civil rights movement, and he jumps into like, and like as a kid it like taught me empathy. It taught me empathy.
Did not shy away from anything.
No, they did not. He jumps into like a patient in like an insane asylum when they used to like just throw everybody in an insane asylum, and he's trying to convince people that he's not crazy, but the whole time he's telling people that he's someone else in that body, and they're like, you're definitely crazy. So like I remember being a kid, I'm like, oh wow, okay, like you're learning a lot about how other people live their lives and what's like to be treated like, you know, if you were a black person during the civil rights movement and stuff like that. So as a kid I appreciated it, and it was almost like a history lesson, I guess, but not one that you should learn. You should learn history from your teachers and not Scott Bakula.
From your teachers.
Anyway, yes, it was bringing me back. The show brought me back a lot.
Yeah. I like the corniness. I think it brought me back to a simpler age.
That's fine.
Of like times of like the Walker and like things like that, which is why I kind of liked it.
I was saying, like, when I watched this show, I'll be honest, the writing doesn't feel strong to me. I think the overarching plot is interesting enough to hold you, but the like beat for beat dialogue is a lot of times it repeats things for emphasis, which is it's his tactic in writing, sure, but when it happens so many times per episode in just like the 2 episodes, it's like kind of gets annoying, especially when it's like they're repeating certain things within like a line from each other. Like there's one line where it was like, I was a cop in Boston and I recognized since I was in Boston, like he said Boston, that he was from Boston 2 lines in a row, and I was like,
Marcus,
what the
so you don't forget. It's so you don't forget. What if you forgot? You know, it's important.
And he's constantly talking about being 6'5". It's just very funny how many times they repeat the same information over and over again.
Details matter, Marcus.
They do. But it was weird. And I was like, okay, chill out, dude. We get it. He's a black guy from Boston. We got it.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about the show is I really, really, really believe Alan Ritson. I think he does a great job. His stoic nature, his physique, I think he's funny when he needs to be. I think he's empathic when he needs to be. I think he's like a psycho when he needs to be. I think it's great. I think for me that why the show works is because of Roscoe and Finley. I think those actors do a great great job for what they're with, because I'll never forget how much I loved the first season of Daredevil.
Okay.
How much I loved Daredevil and how much I did not like watching the show. And I didn't like watching the show because of the supporting characters. Every time we weren't watching Daredevil, and this is just a blanket statement for most shows that have a titular character.
Yeah.
When you're not watching that main character, I'm like, I don't care. This sucks. This is dumb. But the small moments when like Finley got away, Roscoe got away, and it'll happen more as you watch more, you know, those actors are really good. They're really, really good. They know what they're doing. I believe in them in their roles. I believe him as the Boston detective that has come down to Margrave. I believe Roscoe as the police officer that's been there her whole life. Her family helped found this town. I believe them in their roles. So as they're like scurrying around like mice trying to fucking not die as they're trying to piece all this shit together that's way bigger than them, thank God they have Batman with them, but if they didn't they would be dead. You know, I don't want to spoil a lot, but there's just one part that I really love where Finley is like by himself for a moment and he's like about to get caught, and then he's on the phone with Reacher and Reacher like gives him a play-by-play and like what he do is almost like a Matrix moment. Do this and then Finley's like, what do you want me to do? He's like, do what I just said, and he like saves his life. It's like this back and forth tit-a-tat between the three of them, I think is what really makes the show more for me than just another generic cool guy running around knowing everything and being able to beat everybody up. You know, because it's also that.
It is that a lot. Like for me right now, within the first 2 episodes, it's mostly that. It is mostly
it's just Reacher being the smartest person in the room.
That he is the smartest person in the room at all times, and he's the strongest and the best at everything. He's the perfect human specimen. It feels like Sherlock Holmes for Americans. We're like Sherlock Holmes.
100%.
Like, I imagine there's a lot of British people like, oh yes, old chum, yes, you solved another crime. You know, where I feel like this show, a lot of Americans can watch it, be like, yeah, shoot that guy, fuck yeah, kick his ass. It's the same thing, same vibe.
I agree. And we know from this podcast of how many times they've given you Sherlock Holmes-y things. I love that. I love when Batman's Sherlock Holmes. I love Sherlock. I love Sherlock Holmes-esque things. I love House. House is my favorite TV show, I think, of all time. Right? And it's the same thing. I love somebody being able to walk in and proclaim they're the smartest person in the room, and then they prove it. I
don't know why that's
really
your jam, but you really do like stuff like that. You like when people are like, well, I am the smartest one and I will make you all look stupid. It's your jam. And that's okay.
Think by accident. Yeah, I think by accident from time to time I do that. And I say everyone I'm better than I used to be growing up. I still do it from time to time. We all have our quirks, but I used to do it all the time because growing up in my small town. No, I'm not joking. All the time. It's
I believe
what
it is why I'm laughing.
But because growing up, I had nobody I could relate to. My family was not like me. No one in my school was like me. No one asked questions. No one led with their intellect. And growing up, all I had was that I was kind of smart and clever. I didn't have I wasn't good at anything special. I didn't have tons of friends or popularity. I didn't connect with anybody at all. Even Joseph, my best friend since 2nd grade. He is now your best friend too. We love the dude. We have so much in common with him. I did not growing up. He was my best friend because he was my only friend growing up. I didn't become his best friend till I got over my shit and I became a better person, right? And you know, even him, I would do that shit all the time and like prove my superiority intellectually for no reason. Because of that, I think for 2 reasons why I stopped doing that. One, I realized it was alienating everyone around me and I couldn't connect with anyone. I wasn't being empathetic at all. It's a rude thing to do. But also I learned the lesson earlier on that the smartest person in the room realizes they're not the smartest person in the room, right? There's an 100%. Amount of humility that comes from some wisdom that you gain. Even if you're a smart person. And I know you're the same way. I think it's one of the reasons why we're best friends. Like I think we have that in common where we know we're smart, but that doesn't mean anything because the person next to us could be smarter in another way. They could be smarter with us than they know anything or whatever. Like, and because I learned that lesson, I've been able to pivot away from that personality. However, watching those things still scratches that itch I had growing up where I'm like, where I want to walk in a room and fucking shit on everybody because of how dumb they are.
I love that you said that. And I didn't want, I was like, oh, I know this is why Nick likes this show. like, I was thinking this. I was like, man, Nick's like the show because it scratches. Like, everyone has toxic traits, right? And like, you grow and you learn from them, and you like don't do them anymore. You like try to minimize the amount that they come out. But sometimes there's something that scratches that toxic part of you, and you're like, yeah. Even if it's just a fantasy, you're never gonna actually 100%. Do this. You know,
I dream of the day I could have been like House and just walked in and just proven everyone's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I dream of being able to do that, right? Like,
yeah, I totally get
but
that.
now I know as an adult and a good person, you don't
bad
do
thing
that.
to
It's
do.
rude. It's rude. It's terrible. There's no merit in it. There's nothing there.
For me, it's like the opposite.
It doesn't mean it doesn't feel good.
I feel like for me growing up, like I was usually the smartest person in my class. And I hated it. And I was upset by it because everyone would cheat off my papers for tests. And then I would get in trouble for letting them cheat because I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm taking my test. If they look at my test, that's on them for not learning the material. I don't give a shit. I'm going to take my test and that's it. I'm not going to do extra work to like hide my paper and like do all this shit. I don't care. I'm not going to take my test in a fucking separate room from everybody so they don't copy off of me, which they made me do a few times, which was fucking annoying. Anyway, so like, and I was constantly being picked on for how smart it was and my good grades and stuff like that. And I was just like, I literally don't know what to do. I'm not going to not answer these questions correctly or like do the homework or whatever. So I was always ashamed of how smart I was. And I was constantly wishing I was dumber.
Oh,
so like,
that's funny. The same thing happened to me. I just swerved the other way.
100%. So when I see shows like this, I get like this like panic in my heart. That's like, this guy's an asshole. Stop it. They're all gonna hate you for being smart.
Oh, well, I'm like, yeah. You tell them. You tell these dummies. You tell them what's up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, he kept mentioning the Frankenstein monsters thing, which is he kept doing like, okay, Jack Reacher, he's this cool badass guy, right? So he goes around, he knows everything, he kicks everyone's ass, but sometimes he was like a little bit of a Karen or like just like a little too much.
Not a Karen. I know what you're talking about.
But he was like
it's
that
like,
actually kind of guy where he was like,
actually guy.
Actually, it's this, and this. Actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. And it's like,
actually, it was this morning. Everything past 11:59 is midnight. That was this morning. Details matter.
Oh God, that was so annoying.
He's a know-it-all. He's a Poindexter. He's a fucking actually, dude.
I've only watched 2 episodes. Yeah. But in most things, the way this would go, even in House, this happened. There would be consequences for being a know-it-all. So I don't know if there's consequences for him being a know-it-all, but I would like to see there be consequences for him being a know-it-all.
Yeah, there are consequences. He saves everyone's life and he like solves the murder. What are you talking about? Those are the consequences. He's amazing. He's a superhero.
What a burden. What a burden it is.
No, there is a little bit of that. He's pushing people away, and then by the end, he obviously relates with Finley and Roscoe and their friends. You know, like that's classic.
Yeah.
That's where the story is going. I will say though, I was reading a little bit about Lee Child and what he was thinking of when he created the Jack Reacher books. First of all, really interesting. He was laid off of his job, and he said, "Oh, I wrote a book so I could not be homeless. It was a purely financial decision to create this character." Which I appreciate.
That's badass.
Let's see. After being made redundant from his job because of corporate restructuring, Grant decided to start writing novels, stating they are the purest form of entertainment. And he wrote them just But as he was talking about making Jack Reacher, he said he wanted to do something different than what was out there at the time, which the first book came out in 97. So all the heroes of these crime fiction novels and things were anti-heroes. They were drunks, but they were like going against their demons. They were diehard. Right? Mm-hmm. There were people like that. So he like specifically didn't want to make that. He specifically wanted to make an ex-military, and everyone was a cop. So he made someone that was ex-military. And it was just interesting how he was like trying to make away from the prototypical like action hero, the Bruce Willises of the time. Honestly, every time he was talking, I was like, so you're talking about Die Hard? Talking about Die Hard, right?
Yeah, right.
Talking about Die Hard. Yeah,
I'm trying to make someone that's not Die Hard. But
yeah,
but in a
but
way that I feel like, yeah, you just made him
Yeah.
Die Hard. You just made him Batman, I guess. Like he's more annoying and less cool because you've made him like that. You know?
Yeah. Well, Home Dude has 26 novels.
Did you say
about
Home
Jack
Dude?
Reacher.
What the fuck is Home Dude?
Home Dude. Like Home
Not
Boy.
Homeboy, but cooler. But
Home
with
Dude.
surfer vibes. Home Dude.
Well, he's a man, so I don't.
Homie. Home man?
I also don't know how he identifies, so Home Dude.
Mm.
So Home Dude, fucking, he's doing something right. 26 books. That's a lot.
Respect. I don't have 26 books.
I know. He's fucking, he's written like a book a year since he started making them.
You know who also has a lot of books?
Exactly.
The guy who wrote Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt. That guy has like hundreds of books.
I don't know. I don't know what that is at all. I don't know what that is, and I also don't know if they are.
It's this guy who's self-published, and he writes books on Amazon, and they're all titled like "Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt" and like shit like that.
Well,
you gotta respect the hustle.
Do they have the commercial success that Jack Reacher has, or
I
all
would
the awards
watch
he's gotten?
This movie. I would watch a movie with this guy, this lead, as the lead of "Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt." I think he could pull it
Damn
off.
it! I hate that you said that because I totally would too. That sounds amazing.
Granted,
that sounds amazing.
I will say this about this guy: he has a podcast where semi-celebrities read his books. Whoa, that's interesting. The writer does. Lee Child has a podcast,
or the one that Marcus
or
is
the Pounded
talking
in the
about.
Butt by My Own Butt guy. Which one?
This sounds like my dad wrote a porno.
Oh yeah, Chuck Tingle. Okay, that's his name. I forgot.
Is it like my dad wrote a porno? Same thing.
Maybe, I don't know. I ask Old Man Rom. He's the one who gave me the information. So the guy, I will say this about the guy. I don't mean to objectify him, but the show objectifies him. He's got really, really thin legs. He's got really thin legs and no butt. I feel like there's a lot of like shirtless scenes.
At no point was I looking at his butt.
And I want to see his butt. You got to show
He put on
butt.
like 20 pounds of muscle or some shit just for this.
Yeah. In the 80s, they would have given us his butt.
That's
There's
fair.
a lot
Marcus,
of man butt in the 80s.
Well, as we're talking about like all the things he does right, how do you think you would fare if you were put in front of these kinds of mysteries as a detective?
Terribly.
Well, let's find out. Roll the clip. We're gonna play a game.
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia this.
And we're back. We're back.
Marcus, the game of this game is how far can you reach for the culprit?
This far.
You have a question? Oh, you're raising
far. This
Yes,
far.
I have here some quick. This is gonna be a quick game. I just have a couple little mysteries to see if you can solve. And if you're wondering where I got these from, the title of this article is Detective Mystery Brain Teasers for Kids.
Wow.
So
the first one it was with an icicle. The murder was committed with an
They're so funny.
icicle. The second
nope, that's
one,
not it. That's not.
The killer was in the room the whole time. The third
Okay.
one.
You ready for the actual
Yes.
question? Here's number one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Jack tells Jill, "This isn't the $5 bill you left on the table. I found it between pages 15 and 16 of Harry Potter." Jill retorts, "You're lying, and I can prove it." How did Jill know?
Wait, what? This isn't the $5 bill between
You left on the table.
you left.
I
On the
found it
table?
between pages 15 and 16 of Harry Potter. And Jill says, "You're lying, and I can prove it."
Between 15 and 16 of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's because there was no. I haven't read Harry Potter, but is there no page 15 and 16?
Every good detective knows everything they need to when the case is put in front of them.
You're right.
Have you never seen
You're right.
an
Hold
episode
on.
of House of Reacher?
Let me channel in my Dr. House Reacher persona.
That's right.
Yes. Between page 15 and 16. Interesting. I know you're lying because Daron helped me in the chat because the pages of the odd and the even pages would be on the same piece of paper, so it would not be between them at all.
That is correct. Harry Potter, like all other books, has odd number of pages on the right. Therefore, pages 15 and 16 are the front and the back of this same
Hell
page.
yeah. Nice.
You got one. Everybody gets a little help.
Got that with my sidekick. And like in most of these shows, I, a white man, will take the credit for a woman's answer. I guess I'm Hispanic. A Hispanic man will take the credit for the woman's answer.
Let's see. This next one. Do you have a piece of paper?
Sure.
No, I can chat it to you. I'll put it in
I got piece of
the
paper.
chat.
Give me paper. I'm ready.
All right, I'll also put it in the chat. All right. A detective who was mere days from cracking an international smuggling ring has suddenly gone missing. Now, while inspecting his last known location, you find a note, and it says 710-57735 345508.
It says 710
7718. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. Now, currently, there are three suspects, Marcus. Bill, John, and Todd. Can you break the detective's code and find the criminal's name?
What are the guys' name?
Bill, John, and Todd.
Darren says probably Todd. Why, Darren? Let me take the credit. Show your work. I was thinking maybe it was an alphabet thing. Like 7 would be G, 1 would be A, 5 would be E.
But
that's not it, because that doesn't work out. 710. That what are the names again? Todd, Greg, and who?
Bill, John, and Todd.
Bill, John, and Todd. I don't know. I have Bill. Let's see. Okay. There's $10 bill, right? There's a 10 in there. $5 bills. John Hancock. Okay.
I'm there. I'm there. I'm with you.
These are number of presidents, all named John. So it's John. John's the answer.
Did you write down the numbers?
No.
Okay. Write them down for me really quick.
Okay, hold on.
Write them down. All in one long line.
Let's see. Okay, I'm looking at this way.
Now hold it up.
Nothing.
Now hold it up.
I see.
Turn it upside down, Marcus.
It is upside
and read
down.
it to me.
Kill.
Bill.
Kill Bill. Bill is.
No. Read it.
What the
boss?
This doesn't make sense. I'm holding it upside down. Do you see anything?
Bill. It looks perfect. Bill is boss. He sells oil. Read it. Read it. Let me. Bill sells. Bill is boss. He sells oil. I see it right there. You didn't put any spaces. You should have put spaces.
You said write it all in one line. Bill is boss.
He sells oil.
Should have just put boobs. 80085, baby.
You're 1-1. Let's see if you can get. There's 2 more. There is a man. He is found dead in a circular mansion. Now, the detective, he interviews everybody. He interviews the cook, the maid, and the babysitter. The cook said he couldn't have done it because he was preparing the meal. The maid says she couldn't have done it because she was dusting the corners. And the babysitter said she couldn't do it because she was playing with the children. Now, Marcus, who was lying?
Hold on. I just was reading Old Man Rom's thing. That even odd pages solution broke my mind. I grabbed 5 books to check, and they all had it. So there you go. I love that. Okay.
I love that. Thank
Nick,
you so much, Old Man Ron, for trying to prove me wrong.
Read it again. I got this.
There's a man found dead in a circular mansion. The detective interviewed the cook, the maid, and the babysitter. The cook said they couldn't have done it because they were preparing the meal. The maid said she couldn't have done it because she was dusting the corners.
Okay.
The babysitter said she couldn't do it because she was playing with the children. Who was lying?
I'm assuming there would be no corners in a circular area, so let's just say it was the maid that was lying.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
It was the maid.
Hell
there are no corners in a circular mansion.
Woo!
Okay, you got 2-1.
I got that one. Let's go.
If you tie this one, I will give you a 5th one as a tiebreaker. If not, maybe you can win the whole kit and caboodle. You ready?
Let's go.
A man went into a party and drank some of the punch. He then left early. Now, everyone else at the party who drank the punch subsequently died of poisoning. Why did the man not die, Marcus?
Because he poisoned everybody?
No.
Because the poison happened after he left?
No.
A man went into a party and drank some of the punch. He then left. Everyone in the party who drank the punch subsequently died of poisoning. Why did the man not die? The food was poisoned? Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't say there was food at the party.
There was no food at the party.
The music was poisoned. It was like a Batman scenario. He killed them through dance.
Nope.
It was a different punch?
Nope.
It was a delayed poison.
Say that last thing again?
It was a delayed poison. The poison was in the ice?
Yes! The poison was in the ice, Marcus!
Yeah!
The poison was in the ice!
I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
You want one more anyway?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. A crime has been committed at Fremont Street. The main suspect is a man named Sean Baker. It was said that a man had been walking along the pathway when he was suddenly shot in the stomach. The suspect had brown hair, blue eyes, and wore a baggy Armani suit, just like Sean Baker's. Sean was asked to tell the story right from the beginning, and he said, well, I was just hanging around the park when I saw this man walking along the pathway. Suddenly, a guy came up from behind him and shot him. I ran home as fast as I could. The policeman asked him to give a description of the murderer, and he said he had a red mustache, red hair, and a baggy Armani suit on. And the policeman said, I think this man is telling a lie. How did you know?
Crime had been committed in Fremont Street. The main suspect is a man named Sean Baker. It was said that a man had been walking along the pathway and he was suddenly shot in the stomach. The suspect had brown hair, blue eyes, and wore a baggy Armani suit, just like Sean Baker's. Sean was asked to tell the story right from the beginning. Well, I just hang around the park when I saw a man walking along the pathway. Suddenly, a guy came up from behind him and shot him. When he suddenly shot his stomach, because he would have to be shot from behind if he was shot in the stomach. So he couldn't have been shot from behind.
Marcus, you are the next reacher. You are 6'4".
That's
all
true.
you got to do is hit the gym, gain 20 pounds of muscle.
Hell yeah. Grow 1 inch.
1 inch. Yeah, you have to be 6'5". If you're not 6'5", the crowd is going to go against you.
Yeah,
Marcus,
I'm a real tiny guy.
Marcus, I deem you worthy to be a detective.
Hell yeah, nice. If this is how the detective test goes, sign me up. I'll become a detective.
You saw 4 out of 5 of the Detective Mystery Brain teasers for kids.
Yeah, let's go. I'm a genius.
Great job, Marcus. All right, back to the show.
Back to the show, Nick. 2 episodes of the show, he goes around asking questions. At the end of the first episode, he finds out that his brother is the murder victim.
Yeah.
And then he's upset. They did it in a way that was very where he just started he started talking about all the details like he would with everything else, where he just magically knew information about people. He's like, oh yes, I could tell that you went to Harvard and blah 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 blah. He did the same thing for the dead body, but it was obvious. It was like, oh, that's his brother, because he knows these details. And then the next episode starts and he's pissed and he's ready to fucking like take some heads and
basically just destroy everybody.
Yeah. And he ends up in prison, I think in the first episode, with some guy who is also kind of like a person of interest. He admits to the murder, but he definitely didn't do it. So they're trying to figure out who he's taking the fall for. It must be some bigwig because this guy has money, so they must have something on his that they can threaten him with.
Now, I think it was I knew I was enjoying the show, but it wasn't until we got to the jail and they let Reacher literally just be fucking Batman.
Yeah.
That I was like, cool. Because in that jail, he just fucking my favorite part was when the guy walked in to Hubble and was like, oh, ho, 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 look at the new fresh blood. Give me your glasses. Stomps on them. And he's like, all right, now suck my dick. And then Reacher comes out and is like foreboding against that guy. And he's like, I'm going to give you the count of 3 to get out of my cell.
Yeah.
1, 2, pop, 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 pop. And he was like, oh, whoa, whoa. And I was like, it was like the first time he like did something that matched his physique. Yeah. And then just a couple minutes later, when there was a whole shower scene brawl, I really loved the action in this. I thought it was grounded and real. Like Reacher doesn't not get punched or stabbed. You know, I really, it's why I like Daredevil so much, right?
Yeah.
Like I really appreciate it. It's like, yes, he is the best there. Yes, he is really fucking good at what he does,
but it felt
there's
real.
Still 6 guys.
Yeah,
there's still 6 guys.
One of my favorite scenes of Daredevil is when he's fighting all those enemies in like the hallway, and it's one continuous shot, and in between people, he's just like, like he's breathing heavy. He's like, you see the fatigue on him, and I loved that. And the action in this felt realistic enough.
Yeah.
Totally. John Wick-ish levels of reality.
Not quite there. Not quite John Wick.
Not in terms of like
a little high
choreographed like complexity, But in terms of like, oh, it felt that was like a real thing someone could do, maybe.
Oh, sure. I thought, yeah, because John Wick does like it close to absurd.
Yes. The third one, he's karate chopping people like this. They have a helmet, a motorcycle helmet on. He karate chops them just gently, and they're like, oh, you're like, what the fuck, man?
And you're like, Keanu Reeves getting old.
Yep.
But no, I love that too. I think one of my favorite things from the action was in the second episode when somebody goes, I think it was in the second episode, somebody goes to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And he headbutts his fist. Somebody goes
That's
to punch him.
That's a real power move right there. That's a real power
That's
move.
the fist and breaks his hand. It was the three
absurd.
kids. It was like,
that's absurd. It is absurd.
I believe he could do it.
No,
I believed it.
No,
Marcus, I think you could.
No,
I think you could headbutt if you were strong enough and you had the right momentum and you knew what you're doing.
Train your head to be stronger.
You can. It's a whole plot point in here about how the South Americans use headbutting in their karate.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous,
right? Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Just because it's a plot point doesn't mean it's real.
Headbutting's real, dude. Not
headbutting someone's fist. That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
Google it. Can I headbutt someone's fist? If someone is about to hit you with a fist, should you ever headbutt the incoming hit? Let's see. Answer from Combat Methods and Arts.
Okay, let's go.
I've never driven my head into an incoming fist, but I have dropped my forehead as defense. Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. No one's ever done it, Nick.
Actually, hold on. Practical self-defense. It actually is not uncommon, but I am thinking not the way you are thinking. What happens if the person unloading a hand combination steps into the pocket and he says throw two straight? No, what are you saying? These are different questions.
The answer is no. If you can move in any way when someone's throwing a punch at you, it's to move out of the punch's way. Also,
headbutting is in fact, along with knees and elbows, most likely the most devastating strikes you can do. It's just also one that you can mess up.
I'm specifically arguing.
You don't headbutt. Hold on. You don't headbutt.
Do you think headbutts are viable?
Hold on. You don't headbutt with your forehead. You headbutt with the hardest part of your head, the top. The key is simple. You never headbutt a part of the enemy that's anywhere near as hard as your head.
So the fist. You don't want to headbutt the fist.
And it can be okay to headbutt with the forehead or the back of your head. No, they didn't answer the question. Why'd you even answer?
Because no one's asking this question. Go on
Headbutting a pants.
Answers.
Underground, mixedmartialarts.com. Okay. I've been working this technique recently, but only in boxing gloves and only against jabs.
Punched. I've been working
Seems like it would be really effective against bare knuckles. Anyone able to hurt an opponent's hand doing this? And Destroy 450 says, yeah, it's called the Brian Dennehy.
Yeah, that's a joke. He's making fun of Brian Dennehy for getting punched in the face. Nick?
Nah.
Yeah, we gotta.
I don't know.
Where's the Detroit survival guy from TikTok? Get his opinion on this right now. I want to know.
Can I be honest? Yeah. I'm just really surprised with how many people are talking about it in fucking Google. When I Google it, I was expecting to see nothing.
That's
and
funny.
people are talking about whether you can headbutt someone's
Jack
fist.
Reacher
and I say yes. Reacher did it.
An anti-fat thing going on that is kind of weird. And it's been both times there's been a fat person on screen that he said something kind of mean. And I just,
was it more than the jail guy?
Out of character. Yeah. So he says, oh, whatever, fatso. And then there's the guy pinned to the wall and he makes a fat joke about the guy being pinned to the wall. And it was like,
when?
Like immediately after it was like, well, there's a big fat thing, like whatever in there. It was like a weird kind of like off-putting fat joke.
I don't remember.
And
I don't remember the second one.
I get it. Like, it's fine. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but it was just like, again? Like,
I missed the second one.
2 for 2 on this?
I would have thought the same if I heard the second.
Trait?
I thought the first one where he was talking to the jailee in the jail cell. It was like you're talking because he was trying to use that language.
Sure,
he was
he's trying to intimidate him.
I didn't give you permission.
I didn't
to give
like
me.
it.
But he was like, "This is my honey."
But then when he said it the second time,
I didn't hear
the
second one.
I
missed it both times I watched. I missed it both times. That was probably just not necessary.
Yeah, no, it was so weird.
But that being said, I do really like the physicality of Reacher.
Sure,
the stunts he's doing, the fighting is good.
Yeah, I think the acting too.
I think
they're all doing a good job.
Yeah, I think the acting's really good, right? Yeah. Like I think, like I was saying before, Roscoe and Finley, it would be so easy to be lost, but they have just clear, distinct personalities. Mm-hmm. They're interesting.
Yeah, I think.
You.
Oh, go ahead. No, go.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think you get more if Finley as the show goes on. Right now, he's a little reserved. He's holding his chips close to the vest. You can tell.
Right now, there's a lot of butting heads.
Yeah, but I think it's good butting heads. It makes sense because they still respect each other. You can tell, right?
I don't think Jack Reacher respects him right now.
Well, he trusts him. He's telling him stuff, and he's on his side.
I feel like after the second episode, I feel like Jack Reacher's rightfully so very annoyed with this man.
At the beginning, he was annoyed by him, but he can tell he's like garnering his respect as slowly but surely. With just being like doing the right thing and saying the right thing. And that happens more. But Roscoe, you do get a little bit of her. You do get like a little bit of her story, especially as like they're in the hotel.
She seems too into him.
I thought the same thing. But to be fair, if you lived in a small town and all around you were your cousins,
that's not what's happening.
It is. She's from a small town where everyone's either family or knew them from a kid as a fucking.
But you know what's next to small towns, Nick? Other towns. You could drive an hour.
Marcus, as someone who lived in a small town, nope, that's not how it works. It's just literally not how it works. When you live in a small town,
they can go to Atlanta. She can date.
They don't. You don't. That's not how it works.
I'm just saying.
Ask Joseph, who's married to his high school sweetheart. Ask anybody in that town. You know how many people in my town are married to their high school sweethearts or the people that they knew in town? You don't go outside the town, Marcus. That's not what you do.
They went to Alabama to get one beer.
But did they go there to meet men, Daron? No.
But she could have.
She's too busy with her law enforcement work.
I think the fact that the character is written in such a way, or of Jack Reacher, in such a way that he is like peak manhood, and then the like only woman that's in there is like obsessed with him almost immediately and like is fawning over him, is kind of like it plays into sort of like the male fantasy aspect of this thing.
Yeah, 100%.
In a way that was like
toxic.
I don't like
There's a little bit of a toxic masculinity thing happening in this show.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen way worse. I've seen way worse. Yeah. So I'm like, but I think the reason it doesn't bother me is, one, because I think everyone's doing a great job. Mm-hmm. Two, because I think Alan Ritchson, I feel as if I know him more. Mm-hmm. And I know he's actively butting against that. He's actively like doing what he can on his Instagram and on his platforms. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't always done that. This is new for him to like get to this side of it all. He's like combating against that. Mm-hmm. I think is why like I don't it doesn't bother me too much. And also I think just like Roscoe is an interesting, cool character, you know? Yeah. Like I don't think her character is defined by the fact that she's super into Reacher. Is she super into Reacher? In the
first two episodes,
is she fucking
she is defined by that. And later I'm sure she grows, but she hasn't done anything other than like
I think she's like
him.
Doing it. I think she is. She's trying to be a good cop. She's trying to like keep the peace. She's trying to like be nice to the wife whose husband's probably dead. She's like following around and like doing the right thing as they go. You know, I think she's, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
She doesn't seem to have a personality outside of like her interactions with Jack Reacher, which is fine for the first two episodes. I'm not gonna like
she's a cop. Her family is all dead. Her family have found the town. Everybody's incompetent in the town. Her father figure person was killed or died or something.
Everyone being incompetent in town has nothing to do with her personality.
Isn't it? She's only competent
her family being dead.
Well,
but I
Batman would argue.
That is my only personality trait.
That is his only personality.
Have you seen the
Describe
new Batman?
Batman's personality? No, I have not.
Okay. He has a lot of mental issues that he needs to deal with. His personality is his mental issues.
I mean, that's true though, to be fair.
Not all the time. Not everybody.
No, I mean Batman. That's true.
For Batman, yes.
Unless you read the webcomic series of Batman Adventures, where it's like all the kids, he's very even keeled.
I think Batman's written well a lot of times because he's so popular. He gets a lot of good writers in there that change up the narrative.
Yeah,
you know, I like when Batman's a good detective and not when he's just punching people. You know.
Yeah. But I would also say because he's so popular, there's always so many titles that there's a lot of bad Batman right out there too.
Yeah, but where he's percentage wise, you get more good than other characters get. Other like
I think you're right.
Characters get.
Yeah, I would say the same for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree. Spider-Man. He's another one.
Spider-Man's had a lot of great storylines. So yeah, in the show, there's not a lot much more that happens. They
yeah, you go over everything else that happens because I'm done with my points on the show. I think.
No, I don't think there's too much more to say. We wrap up with, so his brother's dead. He's gonna be like, I do like the line against when he tells the barber's like, I'm sorry, your brother's dead. What are you gonna do? Are you here for retribution? And he's like, retribution, justice, vengeance, the whole kit and caboodle.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I love that feeling you get off of Reacher where he's like, oh, I'm gonna burn this whole town down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fucking kill every single fucker in here that had anything to do with my brother's passing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
yeah, I get that.
Vengeance stories are just they're I feel like I don't know why they feel like a guilty pleasure of like watching, but it's like,
for sure,
it's a nice guilty pleasure, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, take everyone down.
I think in society we are constantly being beaten down, and it's nice to live that fantasy vicariously through the characters where you get to get revenge for someone being wronged in a way. You know?
Yeah, agreed. And I think, you know, as the show goes on, it's more of the same, but things get ratcheted up really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Oh, it was nice seeing Lana Lang from Smallville.
Yeah, maybe that's why I felt like it was a CW show. I feel like I was seeing two people in a CW show, and also I was learning more about this guy from a podcast that had a third CW character involved,
who has a lot of CW characters people on from Supernatural to Smallville, all of them.
Speaking of CW, did you see Donald Faison is playing Booster Gold?
No,
in
really?
Legends of Tomorrow, they just introduced Donald Faison as Booster Gold, and I feel like you also really liked Scrubs, so you would appreciate
really like
that.
Oh, cool! That's good casting.
Yeah, I agree. People, some nerds were getting upset with that, like, oh, you're casting a black guy as Donald Faison.
I feel like Donald Faison though is one of those people that like he's just he's a great comedian actor. Yeah. Like he's like as big of a star as you could probably get for this role. And like, you know,
I don't watch this show, but now I'm like, I want to watch the show because I love Donald Faison, and I think he would be a great Booster Gold. I genuinely love the comic book character Booster Gold. I am an actual fan, unlike the people saying that like they don't like this casting because of whatever, because he's black. I love Booster Gold, and I think this is great casting.
Yeah, but the thing about Donald Faison is like, or Booster Gold is nothing about him is white.
Exactly.
No offense to Booster Gold. And honestly, it's kind of weird that he's white because he's from the future, and there should be
he was
less
a janitor
white
too. I mean, also just like statistically. Okay.
All we've seen is him wear. All we've seen from him so far is wearing a hat with a star on it. I was like looking for a costume. That's all.
Hell yeah.
He is from Clueless.
Wait, was Paul Rudd in Clueless or no?
Paul Rudd wasn't Clueless. He was good.
Okay, so he's not the only good actor from Clueless.
But that was like before Paul Rudd was good. He was just like Beefcake. He was just like a pretty boy. He was the stepbrother, right?
Oh, the show. Yeah. Donald Faison was on the show Clueless, which was good. I watched a lot of that show.
There was a Clueless TV show?
There was a Clueless TV show. Okay, we're getting way off track, but I was just going to say that there are so many shows I watched as a poor Hispanic kid in the Bronx, like Walker, Texas Ranger, Reba, and Clueless, the TV shows that I feel like weren't for me, or I could not relate to in any way whatsoever.
Was it all the same people from the Clueless movie except the main person?
I think so, yeah. They recast her.
That's lame. Well, she's probably too big to do the TV show.
But I would like to do a dive into that.
About why?
I don't know, maybe interview other minorities and talk about their favorite white shows growing up.
Well, it's weird because I mean, I've done the same thing where it's like, what we were supposed to fucking exclusively watch the George Lopez show? Like,
no, it's just, I know, but it's interesting. It's just so interesting. Reba, especially, I think about all the time. Like, what? Like, a little kid from the Bronx has never been anywhere. I cannot relate to Reba in any way whatsoever. Never
because
did I listen to country music.
Reba are universal. They are universal stories that we all can relate
but
to.
I
Marcus.
loved that show. I loved that show so much.
Yeah.
But Fresh Prince, that was more my speed. That was more relatable. I understood that a little bit more.
Yeah. I'd have to like look at lists of shows to see what I spent all my time watching. But like I probably watched too many episodes of Happy Days and Nick at Night.
Yeah, fair
like
enough.
I've watched more episodes of Happy Days than I'm sure the next passerby.
Yeah. Or I Dream of Jeannie. We've never dated genies. Can't relate.
I Love Lucy. I used to watch I Love Lucy a lot.
Oh yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big in minority communities too. I Love Lucy.
I agree. My mom loves I Love Lucy. She was a huge fan.
Yeah.
She was like so excited that our school was near the I Love Lucy museum. She was like, "Oh my god, I get to go."
Did she
I
go?
never went. I think she went.
Oh, I went. It was cute.
Anyway,
But
we way off
back
topic.
to Reacher. Yeah, back to Reacher. I think All in the Family on Nick at Night caused my lifelong bad sleep habits. Old Man Ram in the chat. All in the Family. Wow, that's a really white one, Old Man Ram. That's
an
a
old
very that is a next level past
What
Happy
is
Days
all,
and Reba.
What is All in the Family?
That's the one where they sit at the piano at the beginning.
Oh,
That's what like the Family Guy intro is.
Fatty
Yeah.
Arbuckle? No, not Fatty. Jesus Christ. What's that guy's name? All in the Family. Where there's what's that song that they sing on the piano? No.
Yeah, I don't. Well, the Family Guy is based off of it. That is Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker. Come and knock on my door. I'm waiting for you. No, that's Three's Company.
That's Three's Company. Which I also watched a lot of.
Okay, this might have to be in the extras of the podcast episode.
You want me to cut this? I can cut
Might
this.
have to
I
be
can
cut.
cut all that. So segue back into Reacher. Well, and then
Okay. Man, Reacher, what a show that was! What a perfect
I said
segue
good.
this is.
I said good.
I can't segue well.
Hold on. I can bring it back.
Yeah, do a good segue. Do a good segue back.
Okay, I will.
So we can
Well, it
edit
doesn't
this
even have to
out.
be a segue. It just has to be a clean cut.
Okay, clean
Okay.
cut it, Nick. Clean
Stop
cut this shit.
Stop talking. Stop talking. And I can clean
I
cut
will
it.
stop talking now.
So really, I think when Reacher wraps up, I think it just really sets up what's going to happen for the rest of the show, right? It's like it's more. What? That was perfect.
That was
You
so
messed it up.
smooth. Oh yeah, no.
Now I
totally,
can't
good.
cut it.
No,
Now I
that was
can't cut
good.
it.
That was good.
I'm not cutting it out. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about the show. The reason I wanted to give it to you is because I knew you never watch it. Another one was because of that interview with Alan Richson that you already watched, because I think that gives really good context. But also I just think it's hard to get a show like this that still feels okay, right? Like you go back and watch Texas Chainsaw Ranger, Texas Walker Ranger.
I know
Texas
it sucks
Walker
that we
Ranger.
like did that episode recently because
Yeah,
I'm getting tongue tied.
Texas Walker Ranger and shows like that, or even like shows as good as or TV show movies as good as Die Hard. We don't get. I love like the American action. I love Mission Impossible. I've given it to you on the show. I really really enjoy this, and it's been a while since we've gotten a good one.
Yes.
Not even great, like just good. Good enough to fucking just literally just watch and be okay with.
I get that.
Which is why I was really excited that this came out, and I'm super excited for the second season because I think if you listen to the interviews with Alan Richson, he had a really tough time filming this one because they didn't know if it'd be successful, so they was like on a time crunch, and he was getting injured, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. And he even said in that interview, he's like, "Listen, if we do a season 2, we are not doing it the way we did a season 1. I need like time and like recovery." And they're like, yeah, of course, because now I'm sure they're like trying to like suck Alan Richson's dick because he crushed it. Like everybody's praising him, which I think is rightly so. I think everyone agrees. Like even the critics are like, I don't like the show, but Alan Richson was good. So I'm just really excited about. I think in the second season they could ratchet it up even more. There could be even like cooler action beats, like even more intrigue. And this is based off of the first Lee Child book he wrote. So like from here, I know, which was I was surprised. Usually they'll start like in the middle, the best book, right? But no, they started with the first book, the beginning of him being this thing. So I was reading the synopsis of what the second book is, and he like helps a lady with her dry cleaning. And like she gets abducted by people and she ends up being like a congressperson's like daughter or something. So like I'm like, oh, I can see how that'd be cool. Like Alan Richson's just going and then there's a whole abduction, like this whole like I think I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
You can
but anyway,
keep
Marcus
getting pulled into new mysteries.
And that's why this is a really honestly, it's probably why there's so many books. It's smart. He's just like the whole conceit is a Reacher walks around America, finds problems and solves them. Like that's he's Batman. He's cross country Batman. Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Marcus, that's all I have to say about Reacher. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good.
No,
I'm
okay.
good.
Great.
Good.
Marcus,
Yeah.
did you like the show?
No, I did not like the show. But I
Not
appreciated
even a little
it.
bit.
No.
Sure.
But I appreciated it. And I could totally
That's
see
fair,
how
that's
you would
fair.
like it. I totally understand why people like it. I personally just, it wasn't for me.
Well, Marcus, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think I would recommend the show to people. I think like it's a good, if you like CSI Miami, like not Miami, if you like CSI and like those kinds of shows, Walker Texas
It's totally
Ranger,
that.
like if you like those kinds of shows where you're like, I can turn off my brain and just chill and like watch like action-y kind of stuff, then totally watch it.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best versions of that, like
Sure, yeah.
NCIS or CSI
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, yeah.
It's still one of those shows, but
Mhm.
it's the better version of it. And Marcus, will you continue to watch the show?
I will not. No, I'm sorry.
You don't want to know what happened?
I do
You don't
not
want to know
care.
if Kleiner is responsible for all these killings. You
No.
don't want to know how the South Americans come
I
into
do
play.
not care
You don't want to
at
know
all.
who kills
Drugs, I'm
Reacher's brother.
assuming.
That's not drugs. It's actually really smart.
Oh.
You want me to just tell you?
Yeah, just
Like
tell
the
me.
last.
Oh, well, I
Okay,
don't know.
so
People
spoilers for
listening
the-
might spoil it.
No, spoilers. It's fine.
Okay.
Guys, skip ahead 1 minute. Spoilers for the whole show. So you find out that it's a counterfeit money, and
Oh, they were just getting into that in this episode, second episode. You
Yeah.
mentioned it.
and his brother basically made it so you can't counterfeit money anymore. Like you could only there's only one place in the world that prints this kind the
Mhm.
American paper, and it can't be reproduced. And you find out what they're doing is they're stripping the ink off of old $1 bills and printing on top of them. Is how they got around you can't make the paper anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like literally taking old bills. That's smart. And then it's a
Mhm.
whole, it's what you would expect.
Yeah.
It's a fucking scheme with all the people up top,
Yeah, of course.
and they're all trying to. But yeah,
get money. Cool.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's some cool beats. There's
I
some
could
cool
see that.
beats.
I
Maybe
could
I'll
see
send you a clip or two.
Yeah,
of like the cool
for
beats.
sure. Send me clips. I'd watch clips of this show for sure.
The good stuff.
And
the good
I
stuff.
would. This is one of those shows where if you were sitting talking to me about it, I'd listen and like be interested genuinely. But I don't think I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it anymore.
It's a long show. It's
Mhm.
not for everyone to sit
Yeah.
there for an hour, like finding clues and
Yeah.
talking to small town folks about nothing to get
Yeah.
to where you need to go.
Yep.
It's Texas Chainsaw Ranger.
It's Chainsaw Ranger. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it's Texas Chainsaw Ranger. All right, Marcus.
Okay,
that
Nick.
is the episode.
And now is my challenge to you. Nick, I've been
What's-
watching something new, something spicy, something
You don't watch
wonderful.
new things,
It's
Marcus,
maybe not
honestly,
that new.
too
I
much.
watch a lot of new things. I just don't like a lot of new things, so I never give them to you.
That's what I meant.
Sure.
You don't like a lot of new things,
Yeah.
is what I meant.
Yeah, I'm watching Severance right now, and I was like, man, I kind of want to give this to Nick, but I'm like, nothing has happened yet to make
Severance?
me give it to you. That's not what I'm giving to
You
you.
said
So don't worry about it.
Severance?
Severance, Nick.
What the fuck, Severance?
It's a show on Apple TV with Adam Scott that's pretty good right now, but nothing big has happened, and I feel like I'm waiting for more to happen.
Why are you even watching that?
I don't know.
What
because
made
I
you
like it.
watch
It's
this?
weird. It's weird. It's like a mystery kind of like
Was it like Twin Peaksy?
yes, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Nick, I'm giving you the show, the anime. 3 episodes
Oh, anime.
of Ranking
3?
of Kings. Don't Google
fuck is
it
this?
right now.
Okay.
Just accept the challenge. Take it.
Well, I'm gonna
Take
have to
it for
Google it
what
to
it
find
is.
it to watch. I just wanted
Take
to
it for
like.
what it is.
I want to look at a picture.
Okay, look at a
Can't
picture. Go.
Okay.
Look at a
Well,
picture.
nah, I had it, and you made me like exit out.
Now,
Ranking of
oh,
Kings.
wait.
Came up for it.
While you look at
3 episodes.
3 episodes of Ranking of Kings. I
There's
watched
literally
it.
a little kid with a little king crown.
I cried. 2 episodes in, I cried. And I was like, fuck, man. Fuck this show.
Oh, it's new.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's funny because it kind of looks old.
Yep.
It
I'll
looks like Studio
explain.
Ghibli a little bit.
I'll explain all of this when the episode comes up. I've already
Only
done my
3 episodes?
research. 3 episodes. That's it. Each one's like 20 minutes long.
Okay, how can I watch it? Crunchyroll?
It's on Crunchyroll.
Is the
And
first
also,
season
there's
done?
other places you can watch anime, and you probably watch it there
I
too.
understand what you're saying.
What was the other thing you said?
I don't remember. Is
Okay.
season 1 done, or is it currently airing?
It's currently airing still. I think
Oh,
they're
okay.
on episode like 20 something.
All right. 3 episodes of Ranking of Kings is next week's challenge. I will be watching the dub just specifically to spite Marcus.
That's what I'm watching. I like the dub. It's good.
But guys, thank you so much for listening to our Reacher episode. You can check us out everywhere at Now Try This Cast. Everywhere you get podcasts, Now Try This, and nowtrythiscast.com to find all of our socials and our tags and everything. Patreon.com/nowtrythiscast to join the conversation and help us keep the show going. But if you don't have any money or time, please just take the 1 minute to give us a 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify.
Nick, before we close out, I do want to say I appreciate the emotional journeys and the genres that we are able to go through in this podcast. Like, we started
From
off this
horror.
episode talking about, we did horror last episode. We started this episode talking about Final Fantasy. Then we talked about the super male fantasy show. And then we're talking about anime next week. It's great. I love it. We're just everywhere. We're a podcast
Marcus,
for everyone.
I couldn't do this with anyone else.
And on that note, thank you guys for joining us. We love you, and good night. And remember to go out there and try some things.
Friends get together so they can try things. Young About Intense podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Ranking of Kings, huh?
Hell yeah, baby.
Ranking of Kings, huh? I've
Hell
never heard
yeah.
of this. This is new.
Oh, you really haven't heard
I feel
of
like
it?
I'm so out of touch. Yeah, I feel like I'm so out of touch with anime.
I was
just haven't
worried
had
you already
time to
watched
watch.
it.
No, I mean, right now I'm not watching. I still haven't finished Love Is War, dude. And I was so hyped to give that to you on the fucking show.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I just,
you were.
I'm so. We haven't finished Hunter x Hunter since what we watched on the episode.
Yeah.
We haven't. We took us forever to finish the last season of My Hero.
Yeah.
To get to the
I
My
haven't
Villain
finished
arc.
that one yet.
I liked it. I really liked how it played out, but it took me forever to do that. I just sit down to watch an anime. We just haven't
It's
had time
hard,
to do anything.
man. It's hard.
Yeah, it's so crazy.